From former teacher and empty nest mom to multi-year six-figure health coach, Sherry Fogelman has had an incredible impact on the lives of her clients and their families. She's made an incredible difference, but all while working 3 days a week, getting to travel the world. How does she do it? How does she travel and do all of this stuff and juggle and just really have and live a life that many of us dream and aspire to? So we're going to dive into and hear from Sherry. So welcome, Sherry.
Hi, nice to see you.
I am so excited to chat with you. You are somebody we've known each other for years now, and it's been such an amazing story. You are kind of iconic within our community. There's several of you, but you are one of those that are really special. So let's go back and just where you're at right now. I mean, where were you traveling to?
I just got back from Paris and New York.
How awesome is
Great
that, right?
time.
Being able to travel and you still have clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
And about how many days a week typically do you work and serve these clients?
I work 3 days a week with clients. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the days that I'm on Zooms and working with clients, and Monday and Friday are sort of my admin catch up travel days. If I have to get on a plane somewhere, I use those days to travel. Or I make my videos for Instagram or YouTube. I do it on those days as well.
Awesome. I love that. And so you how did you so people are wondering, what do you do when you travel? Like how do how do you have clients and travel? What happens there?
Well, I usually have, an hour session. And so I'll warn people that I'm going to be out of town. It depends on where I am. Obviously, in Paris, internationally, I wasn't seeing clients. So I took vacation time and I said, see you next time. I make sure I give them plenty of things to do. That's kind of how I operate anyway. I want people to take health into their own hands. So if they're too attached to me, it's not a good thing either. So I kind of foster independence anyway, and I give them assignments. I also have a platform where I can be in touch with them, obviously, with the internet. I have a platform, and if they have a burning question, a burning emergency,
Yep.
then I'm available Monday through Friday, but I definitely have boundaries about communication.
I love it. So this is, the way to do it. So be able to work with who you love, when you love, from where you love, how you love, like it's perfect. So this is where you're at right now. Take us back to the beginning. And what was your life like before you were a health coach? What was Sherry 1.0?
Well, I was a teacher. That was my passion in life. I love learning. I love reading. I love knowledge. I love discourse. I love teaching. I love coaching people. I just love that. And I was also a student of nutrition. So back in the macrobiotic days when we were reading
Yes.
books and going to the library and going to bookstores, I simultaneously did that. And so I
Mhm.
always had a passion for nutrition and health. And I was always reading everything I could about the latest anything. And then I had my kids, I was a teacher, and then I had my kids and I focused on that, but I was still highly focused on nutrition. And
Mhm.
I was always the gal like in the lunchroom going like, what are you eating? What are you serving the kids? And
Yes.
all that stuff. Yeah, and then I was like kind of my kids started, was looking at empty nest life and they
Yep.
started going to college and going away. And I was like, what am I going to do? And in the background, I didn't really connect what I was going to do, but I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. Kind of was a pivotal moment for me, was like, it took me back because I was like, oh my God, I'm an athlete, I'm healthy, I'm a vegan, I'm a vegetarian.
Yeah.
I was like toggling back and forth between veganism and vegetarianism for 20 years.
Yeah.
How could I have a disease? What is this? And so I worked with doctors of rheumatology. I didn't know any better. I was young. I was 40, late 30s, 40s. I took the medications and I
Mhm.
felt okay, but I never connected like what I was eating and how I was exercising and perimenopause to how that could impact an autoimmune condition. And in those
Right.
days, which was like 15 years ago, 20 years
Yeah.
ago, they didn't know a lot. I was like, autoimmune condition, what does that even mean? Nobody was
Yes.
talking about it like they are now. So
Yeah.
I took the medication. I have a family of plenty of doctors. They're like, here's the pill.
Yep.
Okay. I had other medications I had to take. It kind of piled on. I was feeling kind of better. They kind of worked, but
Yep.
they had really bad side effects, digestive issues, other things, tired. I was still like not feeling great. I was still limited. My muscles were tight. So one day I had enough. Like the doctor said, you're going to have to give up tennis
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to have to stop doing cardio. And, I was very active. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do that. And so I kind of dug in a little bit to research. I started reading. The internet was popular then. And I found this 30-day detox program and I did it. And I was like, wow. In 30 days from going off of these things and adding in, it was kind of like people know the Whole 30. It wasn't Whole 30, but it was like that.
Yep.
And I felt so much better.
Yeah.
And I did it for 60 days and I did it for 90 days and I did it for 4 months. And I was like, wow. I went back to the doctor and he was like, I don't know what you're doing, but your C reactive protein, all your numbers are better and this is better and that's better and you're good. And weaned me off the medication. And then I was like, whoa, what did I do? And why isn't everyone talking about this?
Yes. Yes.
So I just dug in more and I went to this program called IIN just to find out what I did because I knew I did something magical and it wasn't magical. It was just my body doing what it's supposed to do, which is the
Yeah.
right thing.
So you were going to IIN,
Yeah.
you had helped yourself and they're like, how'd I do that? Like, how come nobody's talking about this? Which is a really good question. And you I think did you know somebody else who was going to IIN
Yeah,
or
so a neighbor of mine was suffering with Epstein-Barr and lupus and some digestive issues. She's a young girl and
yep,
she was in IIN and she's like, I'm just going to IIN so I can naturally heal. She was really into like natural healing and holistic stuff when it was first being talked about. So I said, oh, great. I jumped on it just to learn about what I did. And then I realized that it's a career and we can help. I said, can help other people. Wow. And
yes.
as a teacher, I was blah, 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 blah. I was telling everybody and they're like, oh, this is a career. And at IIN, I was like, really? And then I got hooked in with you. I found you and, the rest is history. And
Yeah.
I love it so much. And it's along the lines of kind of teaching because you're really helping people. Like I was an elementary school teacher and the magic of watching kids read and have books like a
Hmm.
bit like open. I mean, that's what I
Hmm.
love about being an elementary school teacher is
Yep.
just putting their minds to knowledge and changing lives really. And I know I've changed lives with this career.
100%, 100%. I love that. And for anyone listening, IIN, if you're not familiar, is Institute for Integrative Nutrition. It's where I became a health coach as well as a doctor, thinking, how do I help people get out ahead of these? Because I saw as a diagnostic ultrasound radiologist that 70% of everything I was imaging could have been prevented with a healthy lifestyle. And I'm like, I know if we could help people, if we could get out ahead of it, we could prevent a lot of these things. And so that's when I was searching, like, how do we do that? And I really wanted to help people like prevent all of what I was seeing. And so yeah, so that's IIN and so
Yeah.
you're back and it's like I think you were there around 2020.
Yeah, of 2019, 2020. And I knew what I didn't know. So I knew that I didn't know how to do this as a business because that
Yeah,
wasn't my background. And I had been out of the workforce, even teaching for 20 years because I raised my kids without working.
yeah,
So out in the world. So I knew but I was also 50 years old. I'm like, I don't have
yeah.
time to like put
Trial
some
and error this.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have time to trial and error. I got to get from point A to point B as the fastest way possible. And when I saw you on there and I dug into your book, I was like, oh, this is a step by step. I think the book was 9 steps. What
Yeah, the
was it?
free to heal. This one
Free to
probably.
heal.
Yeah, free to heal. 9 steps to a
Yeah. And I was
successful
like,
soul
9 steps.
satisfying. Yep.
Yeah. I'm like, ooh, 9 steps. Love it. Perfect. I
Yeah.
love the step. I'm the kind of person like, just tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And so it really resonated with me. And I was like, just tell me what to do. And I found you, and it was amazing.
Awesome. And if you're watching this and you're wanting a free copy of this book, I'll put a link in the description there. Make it
I
nice and
didn't
easy for you.
I didn't mean to be like an infomercial. This is totally like what happened.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, no,
Yeah.
that's well, but it's
Yeah.
helpful. Like that book has been helpful. The reason I wrote the book is was really when I saw that there was a lot of people that were struggling and they didn't have a medical career to bankroll the costly learning curve like I did. And so I'm like, I'm gonna just write a book and give it to people for free if I'd have known then what I know now, and then just give it to them because it is really, that basics of that. So so um what had you, so did I come up in an ad, or it was just from the book, or
No, it was
was it
IIN. You were on stage at IIN.
okay.
And then what I did, because I was a teacher, is every time somebody got up on stage in IIN, I would Google them and find Mark Hyman, like all the people. Some I knew that were famous,
Yes.
Tupac, Oprah,
Yes.
and others I did never heard of you. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, who's this great lady who's so fun, and so adorable. And she's a doctor and she knows what she's talking about. So I researched every single person.
Yeah.
Cynthia Thurlow, I became part of her group too, because she talked a lot about intermittent fasting. So I'm
Yeah.
also still part of her group, but she doesn't teach coaches. So that's how I found you. And I researched every single thing about IIN even deeper than what they offered. Just that's just who I am.
Yeah. And one of the things that I love about you is like you're all in. And the great thing is you have a level of self-awareness in that you know what you don't know. And
Yeah.
a lot of times, well, honestly, myself at the beginning, I didn't know what I didn't know. So I knew I was becoming a health coach. I didn't know I'd just become an entrepreneur. Literally, those two dots never got connected in my mind. I thought I just went holistic. I didn't know that uh, I'm now a business owner, and I never ran a business. I'd had a medical practice, which is not the same thing as being an entrepreneur, especially if you're a Canadian business or a Canadian doctor. And so that was a very long and very costly trial and error, hitting my head against the wall many times trying to figure out how to do this. And so yeah, so that even if you're listening to this and you're like, I think the clients will just walk through in my front door. I get it how you might think that,
No.
because you might go,
Well,
well, I was a dietitian and I just had people come to me. But the thing is, nobody knows what the heck a health coach is.
well, also you empowered me, by the way. They will, if you want to charge $79 and not make any money, or charge by the hour and not make any, or burn yourself out,
Yeah.
maybe they'll come through the door. Maybe your friends and family will, but you can't make a business out of it unless you kind of know what you're doing. You got to be able to
Yeah.
speak to a wider audience. So, because the referrals only get you, your best friend's sister, that's only going to get you so far. So you really empowered me to charge what I should be charging,
Yeah.
and
And
not, because you otherwise you can't do it.
yeah, and it's not like crazy amounts that you're charging, but you're charging so that people will get results, because when they pay attention. And I know myself, like I signed up for I like to still learn and buy courses and all sorts of things. And so this,
Yeah.
like a year ago, I signed up for several. And when push came to shove, as it does, and you don't have enough time to go around, which ones do you think I just like, you know, ignored? And
Yeah.
it's the lower price ones. And you don't want somebody ignoring their health. And they will. If it's for
Yeah.
free or any of those things, they'll just, so we want them to make themselves a priority. And one of those ways is a life-threatening illness. But we don't want people to get
Yeah.
to that point. But the other way where they really focus their attention is when they've put their money where their mouth is, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
When
you
people
join,
pay, they pay attention. That's what, when
exactly.
the people pay, they pay attention. I
Yep.
have found that. I know it's hard for people to believe because they just want to help people for free, and people are healers and they just want to help. But well, that was my big takeaway from you, was that, what we're worth, and results. That's the other thing. It's like,
Yes.
it's people are paying for and hiring you to get results. They can find out information on the internet.
Yeah.
They don't need more information.
Yeah.
You don't need more information. You gotta know the information of what you're doing, gotta
Yeah.
get, but you have to get results. So
Yeah.
we'll pay for results.
Yeah. And that's the key difference. And when we're paying for, when you have them charging by the hour, you're set up so that you want to spend more time in sessions with them. But
Yeah.
what they're wanting is not time in sessions with you. What they're really wanting is their pain gone. And if you
Yeah.
can do that faster, easier,
Yeah.
better, more valuable than
Yeah.
working with them for a year to try and get out of pain. So if you can get them out of pain quickly, that works. And that's one of the areas because that you specialize in is
Yeah.
weight loss and autoimmune, menopausal, that sort of area.
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of goes hand in hand, like autoimmune and weight loss, because people in menopause sometimes are overweight, and that's just going to exacerbate. I didn't mean to, I'm kind of an accidental weight loss person because everybody wants to lose weight, dirty little secret.
yeah, yeah,
But I really, my passion is to work with people with autoimmune conditions
yeah,
who are trying to get out of knee pain. The fatigue is huge.
yeah.
I do want to say one thing. That's why I was able to go to Paris and go visit my daughter in New Orleans and take a girls' trip to New York, is because when you're results oriented and you're not working by the hour, it's okay if you're not there for a week in person, because
Mhm.
I've given them assignments. I have a platform. I tell them what to do. And I'm not gone every other weekend or every other
Right.
week. I'm there most of the time, but I'm able to go and do. I'm not a slave to my computer.
Yep.
And you really taught me that too. The results
Yep.
oriented mindset is a different kind of
Yep.
mindset and hourly. And people mostly are used to sessions hourly. I mean, I
Yep.
can't tell you the amount of people that say, well, I'm missing a week. Are you going to make up a week? And I try to reframe that,
Yeah.
and
So
tell
that,
it
yeah,
to my
you
clients.
want to have a container of transformation, like a
Yeah.
rough, how when do we start, when do we stop? And then
Yeah. Yeah.
between that, or when do we reevaluate, maybe not stop. But setting it up to focus on, if your client is successful, you'll be successful. I always say my client success is our success. Like
Yeah.
helping you reach six figures year after year after year, your success is our success because more people want that. We help more people, then we're more successful. But your success is your client's success. Your clients, when they get out of pain, when they lose weight, then they're going to tell friends. Actually, you have one of the best stories because a lot of people are like, "How does she make six figures? How does she do this?" So one key thing here is business plan. You got to have a good business plan. So if you're just, I'm charging by the hour, this many sessions, I'm going to just tell you right now, you cannot earn six figures without burning out. You just can't. So that does not work. I tried it. I tried it a lot. I tried
Yeah.
it a lot. It doesn't work. So I'll save you the time, save you the experiment. So you need a business plan that when you implement it and follow it through, that you get results, your clients get results, and you don't burn out. That's critical. So that's one of the things. And if you're looking for what are the 5 critical pieces, down below I'll put a link to a video on the 5 critical pieces to reach six figures as a health coach without burning out. So take a look at that. But that business plan is part of the secret sauce. The other thing is having a signature process, a signature program that you can you do it again and again and again, and you get really good at it and you get really predictable results. You just know when you bring someone from the beginning over to the end, you're going to decrease their inflammation. They're going to lessen pain. They're going to lose weight. They're going to boost their energy. They're going to improve their mental clarity. They're going to improve their sleep. You know it. You can bank on it. And so when somebody comes to you, you can say it with confidence because you know you deliver, because it's not like, I wonder what I'm going to do this time. I don't know if I help with that. You help with people's health. And so having that signature process, and then as Sherry's saying, that's how she's able to sneak away and have some time, because if we leave our clients in pain, anguishing, and they're just wanting to talk to us for an hour, they're not going to be too happy that you left. But if you leave your clients pain-free, energetic, so that they can go on their own trips to their own Paris and Hawaii and everything and have fun with their family and go to the field trips with their kids, they're not minding that you are also living a good life. It's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah.
So good. It's so good. I love that. But the other thing is client attraction. And so I've been doing this so long, I've been doing it before there was social media. Now, so social media is good, but and you use it, I use it, but I didn't at the beginning, and I didn't when I was a health coach. But one of the best things, and why one of my favorite ways to attract clients is through word of mouth referrals.
Yeah.
And that only works if you deliver results. So if you deliver results, each of your clients is a walking, talking billboard. And I got to say, you do this, the absolute best. That is your, would I be correct in saying that's your favorite way, best way, number one way of attracting clients?
Yeah, I love that way. I love referral. In fact, it just is win-win for everybody because it just is great because it's a validation and it's a testimonial, like, oh my
Yes.
God, I want what she's having. That's
Yeah.
basically what happens is, I saw Sarah, this was my client, my original client that had the confidence because I joined you to take on a client. And it was my original client from from when you and I were when I really made this into a business. It was about 4 years ago, and she's still with me, but she wanted to get out of pain. She had shoulder pain, knee pain. Her mother was diagnosed with RA and lupus, and she was scared she was going to go in that direction. Um, and she's like, I gotta feel better. I can't
Yeah.
walk anymore. I can't go on
Yeah.
walks with girls anymore. They
Yeah.
used to do these Tuesday morning walks, for miles and then go have breakfast. And she had to skip it sometimes. She
Yeah.
had to modify her workouts with her trainer because she was in pain.
Yeah.
And he didn't know what to do because he didn't know anything about nutrition. So he just kind of, she wasn't even 50. So she started with me. We got her out of pain within weeks. She was feeling better. I
Love it.
mean,
Love
yeah,
it.
we
Love
got
it.
her off all the things. And then she lost the 30 pounds. And of course, that helps because you're bringing down your inflammation in general. And 6 months into it, now this is still COVID, so people
Yeah.
hadn't really seen each other.
Hmm.
And she goes to a funeral, and a funeral of a husband of a mutual friend. And everybody was like, wow, Jennifer, what have you been doing? Because everybody else during COVID was drinking and cooking and eating and gaining weight and
Yeah.
ordering
Yeah.
DoorDash.
Yeah.
She's like, what have you been doing? And she's like, Sherry Fogelman, Sherry
Yeah.
Fogelman. And because it was a funeral of everybody knew who I
Yeah.
was. They're like, wow, what's Sherry doing? And I got a
Yes.
slew of phone calls.
Yes.
And it wasn't necessarily the person, but it might have been for their aunt. Someone's aunt was struggling, someone's sister was struggling. And
Yep.
then that was like that old commercial
You
Fabergé.
tell two friends and so on and so on.
No one knows what we're talking about
I
though.
know it. I'm old enough to
But
know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
Fabergé, I think it was. And then
Yeah.
and then I'm still dining out,
Yeah.
lack of a better term. I'm still dining out on that. I'm still getting, oh, so and so, oh, so and so, oh, so and so, and it's just a beautiful thing. And I use social media. I do because I use it to stay the top of mind of my
Yes.
for me, social media works because of my niche is my age group. And
Yep.
so that works for me. If my niche was 22-year-olds, maybe it wouldn't work. It doesn't have to work for everybody, but the people that initially found me that very first year, and I think I remember if we go back and look at my sheets, over 50 clients, you
Yes.
know,
I know. Isn't
and
that amazing?
if you're listening to this, please charge what Dr. Shaunna tells you to charge, and don't charge
She
70.
did. She made six figures despite not charging enough.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't the
She
first
made up
few
for it on
people,
volume.
yeah. Which
It's all good.
Yeah. And then the second year I got wise. Well, no, 10 clients into it, I got wiser. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm transforming people's lives. And they are literally on the phone crying with me
Yes.
and telling me that I saved their life, literally,
Yeah.
because they would, they did. I had somebody, I got to tell you this one story. I had somebody who was going into serious metabolic issues, and she's got all kinds of monitors on. The doctor's putting her on metformin, blood pressure medication, all of a sudden within 3 months. And I was
Mm.
telling her, there's something else wrong. You need to go keep asking, keep asking. She lost some weight, but she still had all these issues. turns out, now I'm not a doctor, I'm not a diagnostician, but she had a tumor, it's benign, she's fine on her adrenal gland that was causing all these other problems.
Yeah,
But
100%
she had
agree.
heard that I could help her lose weight. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. But I was like, wasn't taking it like I was like, no,
Like,
this is not normal.
yeah,
Go back to the doctor. Go back. I always tell people, go back to your doctor. Go back to the doctor. Go back to the
yeah,
doctor. Go back to the doctor. This is not normal. This is not normal. You
yeah,
shouldn't be, you're 45 years old. No,
yeah,
this is not menopause.
yeah,
So I'm not, but I'm just saying it because I love doing this work. And then she referred five different people because I didn't save her life, but I saved her life because I
yeah,
kept saying, and she
yeah,
trusted me to,
yeah. And it's just about this is my approach to teach is just lead with love, like genuinely care about
yeah,
people. And you're like, I'm 100% committed to my client success. And
yeah,
then I transfer that over to you guys. And you're 100%, you're all in on that client success. Like you're going to do whatever it takes to help that person be successful. And you're going to map out the plan and it's going to be predictable. And then because you do the same thing over and over and you're like decreased inflammation, singing the praises, and then if there's one that's not there, it's easy for it to spot and go that
yeah.
something else here because I've done so many of these. I know the thing, go back because there's something else. And yeah, you got adrenal tumor spurting out cortisol, that'll do it.
Yeah, and
And
she's
so,
fine. She got it removed. It was benign and she's all good. And I see her on Instagram and she's all cute and traveling around and she's got her life back.
yeah,
She had no life. She
yeah,
was in a bad divorce and all this kind of stuff and the stress. And maybe that was causing the tumor on the adrenal gland. Her
who
husband
knows?
was a drug addict. I mean, it was all kinds of stuff going on. But I'm just saying, like, it's such amazing work to do, but you can't do it if you don't know how to attract the right client,
Yeah.
don't know how to talk to people who want to do the work.
Yeah. And
So,
that's the thing. Like, and it's so soul satisfying, so rewarding to be able to like take someone from point A to point B. It just honestly, like we do the work even if they didn't pay us. Like, for you, for me, I love it so much. I love what I do so much. You love what you do so much. It's a transformation. You transform their health, I transform their business, their health business.
yeah,
But it's just we're so into it. We so love it, but also not at the part that doesn't work is when you just are just, charge them by the hour, hardly any yelling into the void. Nobody's coming. Hey, I'm a health coach. Can I help you? Like,
yeah.
there's nobody coming. By the way, there's nobody coming. That's not
That
how
was
you
a
do
big
that.
moment for me too with you was that niche, like really, really drilling down that niche. Because I didn't know anything about that. I was like, oh, I'm a health coach. You want to lose weight? You want to get pregnant? You want to blah, blah, blah. And you were like,
Yeah.
no. And then you said to me something really interesting because I wanted to help people lose weight because
Yeah.
I'm fit and I'm, blah, blah. And you're like, did you ever have to lose 30 pounds, emotional eater? I'm like, no. And you're like, that's like, and then I popped up with this autoimmune story and you're like, well, that's your story. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? I didn't make the connection at all,
Yeah.
really, about working,
Yeah.
you
And of course,
doing
you
that.
can help whoever you want to help
Yeah,
and whoever you're able to help. But how you attract them, you have to be able to articulate something specific, not just health. And I mean, if it's weight loss, it's got to be for something specific, postpartum moms or something like that. It's got to stand out. Otherwise, there's a lot of people doing that and you're going to get lost in the crowd unless you have like a million followers or $1 million budget. Like but the way to stand out is to carve out that ultra specific niche. And I think one of the benefits that you did is and I'm going to be kind of taking a closer look at where in people's journey and process did they come and find me. And we have different people like you know there's a few people that had been a health coach for like 10 years and struggling
yeah,
for like I think Lisbeth is
yeah.
she's on track to six figures. I think for 13 years she was trying to figure this out. And
Or
you know
Angela Longo, Angela
Angela
also.
is another one, and
Yeah,
Karen Mitchell had some level
oh,
of success, like 40 grand in her previous thing, but totally burnt out. Couldn't imagine doing like one other person, like she didn't even
Yeah.
have time for a walk. And so then reach six figures without the burnout, like hours down, more refined, better client results, just like a whole like transformation. But yeah, so some of them have been trying for a while, but you and I had recently talked to Tara O'Connell, and both of you joined us in the Health Professional Academy while you were becoming a health coach. Like you hadn't
Yeah.
even graduated yet. Is that right?
Yeah, I knew that I didn't know what I knew I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, obviously, I had help. I got in because I wanted to find out what I did for myself. I didn't know it was even a thing, a career,
Yeah.
until I got into IIN. And that's when I found you. And I was like researching all the different people who were on, teaching us in IIN. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I knew I didn't know what I didn't, I knew I didn't know how to run a business or attract clients or what to charge
Yeah.
or how to deal with medications. Like people are on medications. What do
Yeah.
I do with that? I knew I needed a mentor, and you definitely fit the bill for that. Over delivered in every aspect of, I mean, you kind of talk about like a plan, you need a business plan, but your experience as being a health coach also helps us with our clients. So
Yeah.
more than that,
And as a doctor, sometimes I'll pull in some of that background too, because they'll
yeah,
have like my client has this, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's just this, so that I know that occasionally we'll pull that out of the back pocket as
yeah,
well,
and
just
we
to give
need
some
that.
perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we call upon you for that, and you don't hold back. So that's why I appreciate it. And that's why I've been here for so long, is because I feel like as someone who, some of the ladies also were like nurses for 20 years. I think maybe
Yeah.
Elizabeth was a nurse.
Yeah, she was.
They might have specific backgrounds or, ways of kind of, I feel like you really anchor me in this business, which is
Yeah.
if when something comes up, I've got something new I want to try with this YouTube, and you're
Hmm.
right there,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Because and I've kind of tried all, done all, and have some a perspective that I can give. And I think YouTube is a great forum. I'm a big fan of YouTube. Actually, one of my sons is a YouTuber. But the
yeah,
thing I like about YouTube is it's a way, TikTok, it's like, dancing headline type of thing that's here in a minute and gone the next, and like I don't have time for that. And maybe it's my demographic. Like if I'm going
yeah,
to put some effort in and create something valuable that someone can get inspired by, that they can learn a tip by, and then they're like, oh, you mean I'm not supposed to charge by the hour? You mean I'm
yeah,
not supposed to just call myself a health coach and hope for the best? Like when I can provide some value, then I'm going to put some effort into it so I can show up. But I really like that this is going to episode that we have is going to live forever, so that somebody 5 years from now can still get value from it, because these core principles, the things that I'm teaching are the core, are timeless. As they say, when I built my health coaching practice, my six-figure health coaching practice, we didn't even have social
yeah,
media. So, and now we help people with and without. Connie, she's a six-figure health coach, is on zero social media, doesn't even
wow.
have an account on anything. So it's not essential. But
But
to
you're
ask
helping
somebody
her.
else, to ask
Yeah,
another person to do that in this day and age without social media, they'd say, you can't do it. I know different. I know you can because I did. But also, social media is a great lever. But of all the social medias, I love YouTube the best.
yeah.
It's,
But
yeah,
you help people leverage what they have, which is kind of what I
yes,
tell people when I talk to other health coaches who approach me about it. She's like, well, does she teach you how to be on social media? I said, yeah, if you want to, but you don't
yeah,
have to.
yeah,
Everyone has their own personal
yeah.
leverage. I remember some people were married to doctors,
Yeah, we're going
or
to
some
leverage
people,
that.
yeah, or some people have a relationship with their vitamin store, or
Yes.
everyone's got something
Yeah,
that they
everybody does have
have
something.
something that they can leverage. And I found a home in social media. I had like 100 followers on social media. It wasn't like
Yeah,
I was like a queen of social media, but I knew that my niche, which
was there.
is my age group, and they're
Yeah,
already following me. And so
yeah,
that was great. My own community was a great way to leverage that on social media. And I know they love, like, I remember saying, like, I didn't post, which I didn't do in November either,
Yeah.
the fruits and vegetables for the month. And
Yeah.
I got 3 DMs. Where's the November? I'm like, it's not that different from October, but okay. And they realize that people are watching you and people get value. And I was in the jewelry store one day and we both were eyeing over this bracelet. And she was like, are you on Instagram? She's like, I follow you. I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, I actually got a recognition, and I don't have that many followers, but the thing is the people that follow
The
me
niche. Hmm.
is my niche and
Yeah.
they are there to hear what I have to say too. So you don't
Yeah.
need a million followers.
No,
You
no.
just need sort of
You're
people
right,
that,
people, your people, the people that you are meant to serve, and you're working. The key is to work in your zone of genius. The Big Leap is a great book by Gay Hendricks. Working in your zone of genius is really key. Working in your area of expertise, become an expert at it, become the world's leading expert at it, and then word gets out, and then yeah, they will recognize, they will follow you, and they are following you, even if they don't like and comment. People are watching,
yeah,
and I think the real value for social media for health coaches is more for themselves to find their voice. So to find out, because as you're teaching something and you're teaching them about this condition or some tips, you're offering value whether they become your client or not. People who buy like my book, Six Figure Health Coach and Free to Heal, whether they work with me or not, this is valuable. And so we're doing something nice. So as you share health tips, whether they join you now, later, or never, you're leaving them better than when you found them. And that's the key thing. It's just like always, even from quote unquote a sales call, the goal is to leave them better than when you found them, and to really have those heart-centered conversations. And I really, one of the things at the beginning, you just really took off, and I remember all of the other clients are like, okay, so like they were successful too, but at the beginning, like you just went in, you'd gone through like all the modules before orientation, like you're all in. I'm like, wait a minute, we're going to tell you that we had
yeah.
questions. I love it. You're eager. But and then people were like, okay, what are you doing? Like, so how are you building this six-figure practice?
And I was like, I just follow the process,
Yeah,
honestly. And since I came as a blank slate, maybe that was my advantage. I didn't have any preconceived notions. So
yeah,
even if you come in with a preconceived way you do things, it is important to just clear the decks. And
yeah,
I guess lucky, I don't know, but I just was a blank slate because I was like, I have no idea how to do, I have no idea how to talk to a client or get a client on a call. And the
yeah,
sales process that you've taught us has really worked for me and my personality. And it's almost like, I love the first date, second date kind of thing. You kind of have to feel, and people appreciate that. They're like,
yeah,
I use the example all the time. You're not going to walk into a doctor's office and say, how much is a knee replacement? And the doctor's
yeah.
like, no one would ever say that.
Right. Yeah.
Like, no, you
You got to
don't.
do an assessment. You got to find,
Yeah.
you got to kind of diagnose the situation
Yeah.
to
And the
see what they
specific
want.
questions are great, and the sales process has been great for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just follow the process.
I just love it. And that is the key. Like just once you have a proven path, it's worn out, like just follow it and you do get results.
Yeah.
One thing that somebody might be wondering, one last question is, so you have a client that's been with you for years.
Yeah,
And
I have a couple actually. I have like
yeah,
3 of them who will not graduate.
right. So
Yeah.
people will be so people sometimes, and you've been with me for years.
Yeah.
And I was with mentors for years. So sometimes people think, well, why are they still with you? Is it not working yet? And that is not the case. It's the
No.
opposite. So do you want to speak to that? Like, why are they still with you? And then why are you still with me?
Well, both are the same answer basically because you are constantly evolving and offering us new ideas and new things and learning new things and sharing it with us and trying stuff first and then bringing it to us so we don't have to spend time and money researching, which is why I
Yeah.
joined you in the first place, was because
Yes.
I can't trial and error this. I don't have
Yeah.
time to do that. I want to
Yeah.
start working. It was also COVID. I'm like, I got all the time in the world
Yes.
stuck up here. So, and I do the same thing. Like you always say this, like you guys do what I do. And I
Yes.
am constantly kind of bringing new and different things and to my clients. And I mean, a couple of them have stayed with me for different reasons. Um, they just I'm giving, they like hand holding, they like me to be there to run ideas on. They're going to travel in the summer, or their daughter, somebody's her daughter was getting married and she wanted to make sure she knew how to eat and not go crazy. And and they enjoy our conversations. I don't speak to those people every single week. I also have a platform where I offer like podcasts. It's almost like a membership, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's a little bit
Yeah.
like that. Like I have that platform on Basecamp where
Yep.
every week I post something for them
Yep.
and they find it valuable. And so I'm constantly offering value. I did a couple retreats, live retreats, they really like that.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so I'm doing kind of what you do with us, which is I'm always offering something new. Things come up, somebody had she broke out in hives all of a
Yep.
sudden.
Yep.
And this was, she had already joined me for the whole year and she broke out in hives, and we had never done food sensitivity testing. And I sent her to an allergist, but he didn't want to do that, or whatever it was, or was going to charge her an exorbitant amount of money. So I'm able to do that. So I did it. It was super easy. And we found out that she was allergic or inflamed with avocado and eggs, which you would think would be healthy,
Yeah.
right? Even
Yeah.
though eggs go kind of in and out, but
Yeah.
oftentimes people are
Yeah.
sensitive to. So that's one of the reasons is things come up and they want to have me basically on retainer. Not everybody, but a small percentage of people are, I think three or four, stayed with me for sure for 2 years. And now I have another three that are still with me after like 4 years. She's been
And
with me.
so it's so much easier to retain client, like it's so much better, less burnout to retain clients, better for them, better for you. You don't have, it's one less person that it's called churn. You don't want to have as much churn. And so it's one less person new person you have to go get, but you can work more deeply. And even though they know the principles, and for us, even though they're following, a blueprint, and you know the process, we're there, you are there as their coach, their mentor, their guide on the side to navigate life with them. So they're good, but what happens when their husband gets fired? They're good, but what happens when they break their leg and they no longer go to the gym, which was their anchor in their social community? They're good, except for they had a move or a death in the family or
Yeah.
a rash, or now they're in menopause. They weren't before, and just navigating it, because we all have life and stressors or things that come up in the world events. Man, there's no shortage of that. And so that they're good as long as life is good, but not all
Yeah.
problem free for very long. And it's being able to do that. And so that's what we do. We the process, but then we're there. What happens when the unexpected, as you can expect, will happen? And that's really the true value. And just, I know that as I'm venturing into territory as we grow our company, it's really helpful to have a mentor who's been there, so that I can just, I can lean on and say, hey, I'm doing this. Is this good? This is right? Is this good?
Yeah.
And just, if anything unexpected happens, it's really helpful, and it will save you time and money, because a
Yeah.
lot of times, people will often get grandfathered in at those prices, so that is really a great investment for them. And so, don't think that you can only work with people for this many sessions and then they're cured forever and bye. Like, that's not how life really works. So it's okay to work with people long term. And the ones who will work with you long term are the ones who are getting excellent results, not no results. So it comes back to results again. So I
Yeah.
just love that. Sherry, you are an absolute delight. I know you got to take your doggo out for a walk. We're dog lovers.
Yeah.
And you are so much fun. And you just have a just generous, caring heart. You are transforming so many people's lives so deeply. It's truly amazing. And just to watch you do this is just so so soul satisfying for me. And you're a shining example of what a six-figure health coach looks like. As a representative of what the Health Professional Academy. What does that mean? It doesn't mean like going like this, like getting all your dollars and like your six figures is not. It's fine. It's comfortable. It's not yachts and caviar. Like it's not. That's not what this is. But it's making a really great living, a sustainable living, but more importantly, it's just signifying the actual impact you're making in people's lives. You can't make that live income without making that impact. You're going to have an effect. It's just the way that it works. If people are maybe struggling with an autoimmune condition, and they would like to say, hey, could you do that for me? Like I'm struggling, I'm in pain right now. Can you help me? Where can they reach you?
I have a website, which is Sherry Fogelman, www.sherryfogelman.com. I'm on Instagram at Sherry Fogelman. I'll spell it SherryFogelman. I'm also on YouTube, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, which is also Sherry Fogelman, holistic health coach. Yeah, I mean, one of the things why I'm also staying is like there's constantly new. Now I'm venturing into YouTube. I want to,
Yes.
and it's sort of an advanced thing as we talked
Yes.
about. You're not teaching brand new health coaches unless they're already on YouTube, maybe to
Yes.
be on
Yeah.
YouTube. It's more of an advance. You got to like to be on camera. And so there's ins and outs of that. YouTube is a whole world of things
100%.
to know. You're not just throwing up videos on YouTube. You're not going to get very far. So I'm relying on you a little bit for that
Yeah.
too. So that's another reason why I'm still here.
Yeah, and I love it. I mean, Evan Carmichael is my mentor for YouTube, and he's 4 million subscribers plus. Like he is such a nice guy. He's also Canadian, but he's so great, and he is able to amass some great talent. I'm actually going to get interviewed by him in a month or so, so I'm
Oh,
excited about that. But yeah, he's fantastic, and so I'm learning from him, and then I can translate that for you. YouTube business is not what you guys are primarily doing, but you can leverage YouTube for your
yeah.
health coaching practice. A really great, opportunity to share there. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sherry. And definitely, grab one of those links to some of the tools and resources that we have below. Tune into more episodes. And most of all, keep shining your light, leading with love. And most of all, be good for you.